Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. We're here with legendary strength coach, according to many different, mostly reputable outlets, Dan John, for our weekly fitness Q&A. Dan, how are you? How has your training been this past
Good.
week?
I like the fact that it's mostly reputable. Because
Mostly
those
reputable.
unreputable ones, we just, come on now.
That's right. At least they were reputable back in their day, right?
Yeah. My cords are attacking me. Hey, training's good. Weighed in at 218 today. So I've been doing this. I've been doing my training, and I've decided to take a. This is one of those things, folks. If you want to lose body weight, I went for a couple of weeks. I decided I'm going to step back from Olympic lifting. I've been getting kind of tight. Sometimes when I go too far on my Olympic lifting, I start to get a little bit, so I decided to do just, I'm lifting 3 days a week as always, but it's a little more, I'm going to call it bodybuilding-ish, but it still presses, front squats, and some general stuff. But I got a piece of advice from Brad Pillen, and I'm kind of running with it, where I'm extending my fasts just a little bit more, once or twice a week, and I got to tell you, my body.
That's cool. So what does that look like? How many
just
hours?
4 more hours. So Sunday night, I'm also doing this idea he has, and I think I like it, but you have a massive protein intake before you start your fast.
Yeah, interesting.
And there's a couple. So this is why my body weight's trending down. I mean, it's because I'm fasting more. Which, folks, hi, I'm Dan John. If you want to lose,
so you push your protein up. So it's like this massive protein intake, and then you do an extended, as in not that extended, but a 20-hour fast. That's what you're up to?
Yeah, for me, yeah. So lift, protein, fast, weigh in lighter for the next what?
Good name of a book.
Two or three.
Protein.
Yeah, for the next 3 or 4 days. And I do want to tell our kind listeners an interesting thing, though. So I've stuffed myself down. I've got enough chicken thighs inside me to, I'm not really, chickens aren't great flyers, so I have to, but I could run around without my head on. Okay, I was that much chicken in me, and I had some protein drinks. So we're talking a lot of protein. But if you said, Danny, do you want a cookie? I said, sure. Or, bowl of ice cream. That was the funny thing. I was completely satiated, but I could remember thinking I could still eat processed foods, whatever you want to call them this week.
Yeah.
It was just one of those.
Because there's still room in the dessert stomach, as a friend of mine used to call it. Yes, there's a separate stomach for that type of food.
That is outstanding. Yeah. Coffee, black coffee this morning, folks.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, I keep muting myself. I'm having like a sneezing attack over here. I wonder if it's this coffee that I'm drinking.
You're allergic to good company.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed. Oh.
But training's good. I had an opportunity. One thing I would wish all of our listeners would really listen on when I tell people, I take my dental care very seriously. I go to the dentist once a year. I see my doctor, Dr. Bernetti, at least once a year, and very often I'll see him at tailgates, and we'll just catch up. But one of the things I do because of being the Irish, I'm half Irish. It is interesting at my DNA level. We have competing DNAs going on down there. But went again to the skin doctor yesterday, found another basal thing, carved it out. I'm fine, but I tell you, being able to sit down in a room with my skin doctor, here and there, really, really is something I'd really make sure somebody catch on. If someone who loves you says you should get this looked at, and they touch some piece of your skin, get it looked at.
Yeah.
It might just be a zit, but it could also be something that you'll be glad you got it rid of.
An ounce of prevention, as they say. Yeah, but, it really is important. It just really is. Some of these things are so basic and so routine, but so easy to just not do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I do this. I wouldn't say I've got a really great skincare practice. He recommended Head and Shoulders, and he told me yesterday the why of it. And this is why I wanted to bring this up. It's because of the zinc that's in Head and Shoulders. And I keep thinking to myself, I take ZMA every night.
I take zinc and magnesium
zinc and
during the day,
magnesium.
actually.
I mean, when I was young, all we talked about when we got to minerals was calcium and iron. That's all you ever heard about.
Mm-hmm.
And then some other things like most of them are just kind of, potassium there when Atkins was very popular in the 90s. But zinc and magnesium, they really do. It is something. I take that one supplement, but the zinc and magnesium supplement, Hibernate. But there are, I wouldn't say have miracle qualities, but if that's what's getting rid of, if that's what's keeping my, I don't know if you get, any of our listeners get it, but it's, I get I have excessively oily skin there, but the zinc takes care of it. And that's of course the base of the dandruff, and that's the base of certain really strange conditions. But sometimes something as simple as that, there's advice. He also recommends a non-commodic daily moisturizer for everybody that's got some SPF in it. So there you go, folks. I'm giving out
Dan John's skincare secrets. Yeah, you will thank him later. No, yeah, I do the zinc. My primary care doctor just told me to start doing this somewhat recently, and I try to take the doctor's advice. Just zinc, magnesium, and vitamin D, and just pushing those up here. And so far, Dad has stayed. I'm congested and sneezing, but I haven't succumbed to whatever this new sickness is that's running through all my children right now. So we'll see if that continues to hold. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I just wish. You have regrets as you age, and I'm at in the autumn of my years, as Frank Sinatra told me. But there's some things you regret, as you age. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, stop with Frank Sinatra.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that, getting those sunburns is my youth. That was just part of what happened, and you probably regret those. But I would say the number one regret when I interact with people, there's two. One, good dental care, because you only get that one set of permanent teeth. And that's an important thing to mind. And then the other thing, if you can possibly do it, don't get fat.
Don't get fat and don't get cavities. There you go. Great advice.
Yeah.
Hey,
you can work around almost everything else. Yeah.
So for us Americans, we have Thanksgiving coming up, and I like what you were saying earlier about this protein and extended fasting, because around this time of year, Dan, I'm sure you get it. The how do I survive the holidays type of question. And I like what you're doing, because that seems like for people who want to enjoy the holidays, which is great. I think you should enjoy the holidays. I don't think you should just sit in a corner during Thanksgiving with just your can of green beans, right?
Talk about a douche to go to somebody's Thanksgiving dinner and say, and then say the diet you're doing. You're better than us. Okay, I get that.
You got it. You're better than us, but if you want to be like the rest of us, then something like what you're doing sounds really kind of cool, right? And you could do this. You just line it up, right? So you do your little protein pump, if that's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
You fast. I don't know. It'll extended fast. You could do that on Wednesday, and then you'd enjoy Thanksgiving on Thursday. Yeah. So I don't know if that. Go ahead.
If you're an American, you eat more on Super Bowl Sunday than you do on Thanksgiving, calories wise.
So I've heard, yes.
Yeah. Super Bowl Sunday has become, and if this is wrong, folks, I apologize, because this is something I read. 8,000 calories are on average.
Wow.
And I just want you to sit back, just for a minute and go, that means that's the average. That means I only eat 6. That means someone at the party is stepping up and getting 10,
Man, I'm going to the wrong Super Bowl parties, which is to say I don't go to any really, but
And there was research back in the 70s about feasting, and what actually, and I know it's in Covert Bailey's. If it's not in Fit or Fat, it's in one of his follow-ups. Of course, he wrote, just like that Zone guy, you write 52 books about the same topic, and I respect it because people kept buying it.
Yep.
But let's see if I remember this, is that feasting does actually have a benefit to long-term fat loss. Sure. So the occasional feast actually stimulates, back then they said it was brown fat, but I'm sure there was, I'm sure there's a new thing now, but So there is a value into sitting down every so often and stuffing yourself. The problem is, it's like, if you go from San Francisco to San Diego in a car, you never leave the suburbs or the urban centers. It's called sand. Okay. The problem between Thanksgiving and, well, New Year's for sure, but now I'd say all the way to the Super Bowl as Americans, you feast from Thanksgiving, which is November, Advent, Christmas parties, New Year's parties, all the way to the Super Bowl, which is in February now. And then, oh, I got to lose this weight. November, December, January, February. It's hard to feast for 4 months and then have a reasonable plan to undo that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's just very sagely wisdom. We've talked about this before. This cyclicality in things tends to be very beneficial. We have it in our training, right? There's sometimes, and we know, right? There's sometimes where it's good to really push it. Sometimes it's good to pull back, and it's good to be in the middle at various periods. Well, same thing with eating, right? Sometimes it's good to really push it in terms of the, whether you're feasting or fasting, whichever direction you're thinking about. But that needs to be balanced, right, in the other direction. And that is not too common these days in American society, unfortunately.
Well,
right?
I mean, in the last month, if you looked at my training 3 or 4 weeks ago versus what I'm doing this week, it looks like a whole different person training. I mean,
right? Yeah.
And hopefully, and when I got a kettlebell cert coming up, and I'll have to shift over to the kettlebells, intensely for anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks. It depends, I'll and actually it's just to get this part of my skin, because with my barbell, I rip up this and this.
Yep.
With kettlebell, I rip up more in here, and then like that area right there, that area right there.
Yep.
I have to get my skin ready, I guess.
I know you need to have it's called all the callus collection, right? So I've got the kettlebell calluses, the ring calluses, the barbell calluses, and the very special guitar calluses too on the tips of the fingers. So,
I used to have this great one right there from discus throwing. Yeah.
Yep.
Great one.
Yeah. So it's those fun ones, right? The signatures. Good. Let's take some questions, shall we, Dan? Let's.
Are you good on time this week?
Yeah. Actually, am. So let's rock.
How's Angry Angus doing?
Raging Angus. Yeah, Raging Angus beef. Good. He's fattening up nicely. He's doing great. He was born. It's so funny because some of our kids apparently are just born with hair and then they bald and then they get it back. So it's just funny. It's just a funny looking thing, but he's doing good. So thank you for asking. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Little Ellen. I talked to Lindsay last night. I go, how's she doing? She goes, she's big. She's just big.
It's so funny because they first come out and they're so frail and small, and he's only a month. I guess he's about exactly a month, right?
Yeah.
It pays to be careful, seriously, picking up the kids all the time for various reasons. I'm just attentive to this is not going to be the thing that wrecks me. I've made a point of it, right?
Yeah, that's excellent. All right, let's get started here.
Steven says, what is your suggestion for loaded carries during the winter months?
March in place.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, Dan. Take that one.
March in place, man. Mm-hmm. I got to tell you. In fact, I'm to the point. So whenever I say a statement, you guys know hyperbole is my middle name, okay? And I've said it a million times on this podcast. I like to exaggerate. In fact, so much so that this podcast, the #1 podcast in the world, okay, so when I say things sometimes, I have a tendency to exaggerate. But I'm starting to think that marching in place loaded carries might even be better than the trudging ones. And I'll tell you why. It was when I started so I put a weight on my head now because I'm trying to.
Gun show.
Yeah. So by having a weight on my head, it forces me to stay vertical. I mean, just tall. Okay.
Long and tall. Yeah.
So I have that 5-pound ringside head weight that Tim Anderson shared with me, the idea with me. And so if I'm doing a suitcase carry with the head weight on, I'm not like a comma. I have to be very tall. And what's nice about that is as I do that, my knees come up versus me. Okay. Instead of me bringing my shoulders down,
your knees come up.
My knees come up. And I'm starting to think that waiter walk, suitcase carries, and maybe a couple other of the variations might be better with march in place. Now, the second I say that, someone's going to ask me for standards on march in place. 1 million steps with, let's say, the 200 kilo kettlebell overhead and the 400 kilo
and
kettlebell
bottoms up, yeah.
in the suit. It bottoms up, of course, obviously. 1 million steps, and but I'm shocked at how much better I like march in place, and also too, you can do it in an apartment. You can do it. I mean, if you better talk to your neighbors, but because they're going to be asking me what the hell's going on.
What is happening? Yeah. Yes. Stephen has a follow-up question. Also, what about loaded carries to complement kettlebell clean and press training?
Okay, Steve. No, I can't. I was about to do a grammar thing, but I can't.
No, I see it. I see it too, Dan. It pierces me. That's right.
Also, what loaded carries complement? The whole family does. The fact, when in doubt with loaded carries, do the suitcase carry. But if you're doing clean and press, you might not need the rack and waiter. But the farmer, the suitcase. I think with the clean and press, a great combination is hill sprints. But yeah.
Yeah. Yes. No. I agree with that. So I usually stick with the. Man, I've really come to enjoy the suitcase carry more and more. There's sort of a tendency to just want to be like, oh, two kettlebells, heavier, do that. But you really miss out on stuff when you pick up the 2 kettlebells that you get with just a single arm suitcase carry, right?
Yeah. I got another question the other day. I can't remember maybe why I don't like double overhead waiter walks, and it's just like because it's dangerous. But I can't answer that. How I know you haven't done the double overhead waiter walk is you ask that question.
Yeah, it's so true. You just kind of feel like it's right. Single overhead feels great, fine, can just kind of walk there all day. But once you put 2 overhead, you just kind of go, yeah, this.
Yeah,
it's
David
probably
from 1917 tells us the double rack carry, and I agree with him. So for most men, we probably need to do more of the double rack carry.
Love it.
But when you put those bells overhead, I wouldn't say I'm certainly, I'm not saying everything is dangerous. I don't want you to hear that, folks. But it's at the same time, it's that you talk the squeeze, and I always say cost to benefit and juice to squeeze ratio. It's just, if something bad happens with 2 bells overhead, something bad could be, it goes from bad to worse real fast.
Yeah. And I really like the 1 in the rack, 1 overhead, or 1 in the suitcase, 1 overhead. Those are great variations. I think super useful. So you can still do the 2 kettlebells and just put them in different positions and experiment with that a little bit. Yeah.
One of my favorites is called the crosswalk, waiter with 1 hand overhead and the opposite hand suitcase.
Yep.
And and you can really load that suitcase carry heavy, which really teaches you about the X that your body has. Yeah. My right arm is loaded down here. My left arm is here. And you really can feel that conversation go on with your whole body. Yeah. Good question.
Yeah. Great. Good question, Stephen. Thank you. All right. Let me scroll back up and then scroll back down. All right. Samuel has more of a comment. He says protein satiates and fills you up, but not all of it. Some protein powders do spike cravings. Yeah, I guess that's true for some people, right? I always find that like the protein shake and powder is always a good way for me to kind of blunt things. But yeah, I guess, you know.
If you look at the label, I had a good conversation. Her name is Judy, and hats off to Judy. Just had a total hip replacement, and she's in the recovery stage. Good luck to her. Time out. She's never lifted weights in her life, and she's getting a total hip replacement. So you find people online who say that my training caused my total hip replacements, where we know I have a genetic condition called pistol grip hips. Then why did Judy get it if so? But she said something interesting the other day when I was talking to her, because I do one of the hardest things about coming out of a hard surgery like that. Total hip replacement isn't surgery; it's carpentry, is what my doctor told me. and I recommended some proteins, and she can't stand the ones I recommended, but she likes that one you get at Walgreens. It's the Nutracell. It's the one that usually recommended for people over, say, 65, 70 and above. And all I did is I went and looked at it. It's a lot sweeter with a lot more sugar.
Yeah, that's what you got to watch out for.
Mm-hmm. But in her case, it's fine because, when you're giving meal replacement shakes,
yep,
to someone who's in there, who's maybe digestive compromised, that's good. You're getting all that calories. Now, for most of our listeners, that's just more. That's going to be the one that makes you bounce. Those are so the more sugar, and maybe there is no. It'd be interesting if anyone wants to link in. I find for me, when I see all the sugar in there, which sucrose and all those families, and they hide them well. If you see the word corn at all in a protein, you got sugar in there. But some people I know do get that weird bounce. Okay, so for me, it's the sugar. But for maybe that listener there, if it's a milk concentrated protein. When I was young, they had these egg proteins. I don't know if they still make them. They were just as bad as the fish ones. I mean, I don't know how the hell you drink them, but if anybody,
I remember the egg. I remember the egg variant.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not. I mean, the one that was flavored like banana.
Banana flavored egg protein. Can you imagine the stuff we put ourselves through, people? Yeah.
God, the crap we do.
For glory. Yeah.
So, but so I agree with the listener's point very much, but I think it's also very specific to each listener.
Yeah. Good. Justin says the Core Power ones by Fairlife are the tastiest protein drinks I've found. It's basically super ultra filtered milk, but the vanilla ones, when refrigerated, taste like melted ice cream. Well, I've never had those. Are those the ones that they have at the great store of Costco? I think I saw those at Costco.
They might be. I know they're at when you pull over, gas stations, because that's what I drink when I drive across the country.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, it's good that the gas stations have those things now. It's not just all.
Yeah. Well, another one, and I can't find them anywhere outside. When I was in San Jose, I was teaching this RKC down there, and I found these Starbucks drinks with, like, I want to say there was like 40 grams of protein. That's what it said on the label. Who knows? But I really liked that. I really, really liked it. It was good. So anytime I can get caffeine and protein, baby, sign me up.
Yeah. I've been doing some of the collagen lately, but the thing is with collagen, it's not a great recovery protein because it's low in certain it's low in like leucine, for example. So if you're doing collagen for like things related to muscle and strength and performance, all that, I would supplement the branch chain. So that's what I've been doing. I just been doing and I don't know. I guess I'm over taste, so I don't care how things like taste. Like I just do straight unflavored collagen in water, mix it up, and then just take the branch chain amino acids. Once you start fussing about how good your protein shake tastes, I think it's kind of a losing game. If it is, then crap, it always tastes like crap. So just I swirl it up, I take it like a shot, I'm done, and then I can move on with the day.
Well, my super duper health drink is a Costco special. It's vanilla premier protein, and then they got those frozen mixed berries.
Yeah.
So I just Vitamix that together, and it tastes like, and my daily response is, how can this be good for me? Because it tastes good. That's when you've been in the fitness industry a long time. If something tastes good and you doubt it has value.
Yeah. And we've all seen the Seinfeld frozen yogurt episode, right? Wasn't that the famous one? Yeah. And the other thing is, like, look, I like stuff that tastes good too. Don't get me wrong, but I don't even like to mix the not taste good stuff with the taste good stuff, because then it just makes it taste like mediocre. You know what I mean? So like, I'd rather just take the hit on the nasty stuff and then just go have the thing that tastes good separately by itself.
Yeah. Okay. My standard breakfast is scrambled eggs, 3, kimchi, any vegetables left over, my vanilla protein shake with the berries, and then my super oatmeal with all the extra, and then a yogurt just to make that palatable. It's a lot of food, and it's funny because when people talk about different things, they'll say like, "Oh, that kimchi sounds terrible," but I'm to the point with kimchi and sauerkraut that it's like, I don't think they. Why do people think they taste terrible? So one of the things you will find in your life is that your taste buds will move around. When I was young and I would smell buttermilk, I would gag, and I was told that there comes a time in your life where you'll actually like buttermilk. I'm not there.
Yeah, just
It's
keep
like
waiting.
eggnog. When someone says, "Oh,
I don't like eggnog."
happy Christmas," like some eggnog.
No.
Once again,
No, I don't want that. I don't like eggnog either, Dan. I've never liked it. Yeah.
just give me the booze. I don't need
Raw.
the medium.
Yeah, seriously. All right. Kang says, hey, two-part question for Dan. Number one, in the coffee strength train walk fat loss approach, what type / amount of strength of training stimulus is needed to release those delicious fatty acids?
Well, if you read what Rusty Moore, he's the one I got this from, and since then
That answers his second question, by the way, of where you got it from. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what works did you learn the strength training?
Oh, yeah. See, look. So Rusty Moore has a really good, and it was in I think originally in his little black book, and then I know it's in his. Rusty really has a collection. Rusty has a collection of hundreds and hundreds of his articles. I kind of, you know what? I think we should do that on my site, where every single you just go down. It's got the cheater thing that takes you to there, and he's got all those fun pictures.
Yeah,
that's where I first heard it, and then since then, I found it in I don't know if you guys know the work of Brad Pillen. He talks about it in his book. He's a Canadian nutritionist, very good. I've seen it recently in somewhere else, but that's where I got it from. And I just read somewhere else about coffee freeing up. It was in the Guardian, the newspaper, the British newspaper called the Guardian, where I kind of get my news. I wish I was getting a great news feed from English from Oslo. If you want good nutrition information, I think England's pretty good for the nutritional information. Application may be different, but in the Nordic countries, when it comes to health and fitness, I think they have the best general population research. And that I got to tell you, what I just said there, folks, if I was listening, that was a douche fest of, you can't, you got to, okay, but that is true, okay? So how much lifting you need? I don't think very much. Rusty does base, if you read his Lightning Rounds book, he has a whole chapter on my work. He really does base a lot of his bodybuilding techniques on the easy strength. Pavel and I, or Pavel and me, depending on how that sentence worked out. So that's how much do you need? Probably not very much, but the idea is you want to have the stimulation and then go for the walk. And that's kind of the key. But what stimulates is that fast you had, hopefully you didn't eat while you were asleep, the coffee, the weight workout that gets you going somehow, and then the walk. And that's the process, okay? Now, what I'm adding to that, if you don't mind, gentle listener, is I'm adding that big pre-protein. I'm adding a small bodybuilding pre-protein hit. So, okay, the night before, I do a short bodybuilding workout. And it's front squat, press, and curl. Don't lose your mind on it. I eat that massive amount of protein. I fast. I coffee. I walk. I eat, and that's dropped my body weight like a stone. But whether that's good or not, we'll find out in the next few weeks. Okay.
Awesome. Here's a good, timely question. Avery says, what are you thankful for this year? And more importantly, what are you unthankful for? Well, I try not to be unthankful. I really don't try to think about that too much. I don't know if it's productive. So let's at least start with the thankful stuff, Dan.
Yeah, tomorrow's my inner circle. And thank you. That's a good question. I appreciate it. 2 years ago, basically in a week or so, Tiff died. And, it's what I'm very thankful for. And I didn't mean to be I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but I'm answering your question. And in those 2 years, my daughters have really overcome a lot of issues, the grief, the legal entanglements, all the stuff. Both of them had babies. Lindsay had Ella in August, and Kelly's going to have Daisy in April-ish. And they're both kind of unexpected pregnancies. I wouldn't say immaculate conceptions or anything, but pretty. And when you sit back and you fold your arms and you look back on the success of your children, and I wouldn't be surprised if, Pat, you would say something similar. It's a real honor. I'm really happy. In that time, I've come out with 4 books, which tells you how I deal with issues I write. But I'm very thankful that I have a good community of friends. I know you have to be careful about thinking your online friends are your friends, but folks, I don't know how many years Pat and I have been doing this, but every Tuesday I sit down through good and bad times. We share births, so we share deaths with each other.
Yeah, that's right. We do.
I'm very thankful for you, Pat. I'm very thankful for this
Likewise,
audience.
Dan. Likewise. Mm-hmm.
I'm very thankful that the strength and conditioning community supports me, and I think that's wonderful. 2 years ago, I mean, the throwers I'm working with, we're doing all kinds of things, and look at us today. We're all, now I've, last weekend, Cam threw a personal record by a lot. I'm very thankful. In the last 2 years, I've completely redone my home, new fences, new roof, new this, new that, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful. I'm in a new relationship. I don't think this is a surprise to anybody who looks at my Instagram photos, and that's going well. So yeah, thank you. I'm also, decluttered my life a lot. So, and I'm ready to be happy again.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's always good to just list those things out, because at least I find oh yeah, things aren't so terrible, right? And I do have a lot to be grateful for.
I mean, I hope you're thankful for Angus. What else?
Oh yeah, tons, so much, right? So yes, of course, the big one, the most recent one, mom's healthy, baby's healthy. We got raging Angus, we got angry Angus. He's doing great. All the kids are doing great, despite always cycling through some minor illness or something. That's, if you can't tell, I'm a little tired today because kids constantly waking up throughout the night with their coughs or whatnot. But overall, super healthy, great kids. So family life, is I'm very grateful for it. On the more professional front, lots of stuff. Got 2 books came out this past year. Got this one coming up on the 17th. Strong On, if you guys haven't checked this one out. So really excited about that. Really
December
grateful.
17th.
December 17th, right? So yeah, what's that, like 3 weeks? 3 weeks from now, this will finally be hitting the shelves. Life is very, very busy, but it's all good right now. Still doing the PhD. Had 4 peer-reviewed articles published this year, so doing good on that front. Joined a new band, so lots of work on that. And these are all very busy things, the business to the family to the writing, but they're all really good. I'm all extremely grateful for all of them. So life I could sit here, could list many different challenges, but I don't find that's as productive or as helpful as focusing on those things that are really our gifts. So I appreciate the question. It's a timely one. I hope everyone else spends a few minutes today reflecting on similar things. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's see here. Danny, here's some praise coming in for your new book. Carson says the Kettlebell Workout Companion is really a, quote, most bang for the buck book if you're looking for inspiration and different programs that work. Dan, you are a true inspiration and a true mentor.
Yeah, Carson, thank you. I don't know if there's ever been a book written with less hype. I mean, it's like, what was it, a week ago, Karsten? I just said, I have a new book. Where can you get it? Give me an hour. Amazon. It was just, and I'm so glad you like it. Karsten, if you don't mind, I don't have a copy of it. I'm supposed to get, I'm supposed to get my case. Again, this will tell you about how this thing all unfolded. But would you? It does it is the binding nice? Does it fit? Well, I mean, I'm seriously, I'm asking you questions about the quality of the book. Not the crap I wrote, but the quality. Is it great? If you don't mind, Carson, let me know. Okay, I really would appreciate it. Okay,
that's great. Well, yeah, we said this last week, but dang, everybody loves workout books, and of course, everybody loves Dan John's workouts. So this is obvious no brainer. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, definitely do. Yeah. Marco says, greetings from Croatia. When we train different double kettlebells, should we pay attention to the number of repetitions with the heaviest kettlebell or allow self-regulation through training? I think he's asking about kettlebells of two different sized weights here. Yeah. Is how I'm picking up. Yeah.
Marco, clarify this question for us. Okay. Are you talking about like I'm doing double presses and I got a 32 here and a 16 here? Is that what you mean?
I think so, because he says in his follow-up that I'm interested in your opinion on what is your approach to offset training with kettlebells. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm a huge fan. In fact, in one of Pavel's books, he claims that I'm the person who convinced him that these were a good idea. I love offset kettlebells. But my favorite thing to do, and this is just Marco, just an idea. I like to have the 2-to-1 on it. So a 24 and a 12, a 32 and a 16. I like it. And the reason I like that huge disparity is so that when you go to lift and you're going to, okay, I'm just using the press because it's on the screen. Those of you who are listening, not watching, I'm pretending I'm doing kettlebell presses. Okay. So what's nice is as I press up, I have to have all this communications back and forth between my systems so that they go up at the same time. Next set, I switch sides and I do the opposite. And I just think there's real value. Always have. Oh, and Karsten and Steve have both said that it is quite the quality.
The binding is excellent and the quality is quite good.
So,
awesome.
And I know that I was talking to Charles Dickens not long ago, and Bill Shakespeare, myself, Dickens, a few other writers were sitting around a table. Elvis showed up. Very nice man.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, once you write something, you really don't know what's going to happen with the editing, the binding, and all the rest. So I appreciate it. And I'm actually excited now to get a copy of the book. Are the pictures inside in color or black and white? Can you guys answer that? I saw Josh's copy. It looked like some of them are black and white. I just like
love pictures. Okay. Love pictures.
Karsten, black and white or color? Yeah.
Chime in, please. Let the author know what is inside his own book. Yeah.
I hope, Marco, I answered your question well. I also, if you're going to do double swings with offset kettlebells, I kind of think that's better than a lot of the nonsense I see online, because if you've got just black and white, too bad. I'm sorry. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I didn't know, but if you're doing double kettlebell swings with a 32 and a 16, say, okay. I mean, it adds up. It turns out to be just the same as double 24s, but taming those two together, I think really teaches you the body's an X, and it also teaches to stay aligned. If you're letting that 32 dictate all the movement and you're leaning in, it's obvious. Okay. So
yeah. Well, here's a little bit of praise for one of your other books from Oliver. He says, "Hey Dan, your book Armor Building Formula is an amazing read. Highly recommend it. Greetings from Belgium." Yeah, all over the world today, Dan. The podcast is number one, as you said, internationally known.
And Oliver, do you have a town there? I hope I got it right. Antwerp. It was one of the nicest. It was one of the greatest workshops I've ever been to. Great town. Love your country. I guess whenever I tell people I love Antwerp, they always say you should go to Bruges. I'm sure if I went to Bruges, they would tell me to go somewhere else. That's the fun part of traveling. No matter where you go, when you get home, people told you went to the wrong place. So yeah.
All right. While Noah says that protein shakes made with milk from gas stations make him feel nauseated, gas station hot dogs do not affect him at all. So superfood right there. Anybody, the Costco hot dog, man. Now don't talk about superfoods.
Well, My only knock at the last time I had them, and I've been a fan. The salt punched me in the face.
Of the Costco hot dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Now,
$1.50
anybody
Costco.
who's brave enough to travel across the United States and eat gas station hot dogs, I think you have a superpower. The heart. Oh, did I tell you last week?
Yeah, you have a responsibility to the world, you know.
Did I tell you last week about my little experiment I did? I travel a lot, and there's certain for bang for buck when you travel. The reason I like taco, there's a place called Del Taco and a place called Taco Bell, is that it's easy to find out the calories you get from them. Did I tell you this last week?
No.
So I pull into Del Taco, and this is a while ago. When I travel, man, you listen. If anyone's like, so why don't you just pack like 7, protein drinks and some apples and carrots, dude? Because I want. I'm not that guy. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So at Del Taco, the bean and cheese burrito, which is kind of my stand to for years, is 440 calories. And I usually eat 3 of them, and I can eat 3 of them in probably, if I said 6 or 7 minutes. Well, I noticed that the taco salads were almost the exact same number of calories. So I did an experiment. I went inside and I ate the 2 taco salads. Now, so 2 taco salads, that's 440 calories, 880. Couldn't finish the second taco salad. What lesson did I learn is that the burrito is just like the sandwich. And that great book, Just Eat by Barry Easterbrook, says he shouldn't eat sandwiches because they're such concentrated calories. I've discovered I shouldn't eat burritos because they're such you have a taco salad and you get 2 of them.
Oh, yeah.
That's 880 calories, 3 bean burritos. I can eat 3 of those. I mean, whatever the hell it is, 1,320 calories.
Yep.
I can shove those down, boom, boom, boom. Or I can eat a 1.5 taco salads, which gets me about, I'm getting lost now, but say 600 calories.
Yeah.
And I think that's better. So, folks.
Is that Del Taco? I'm sorry, or was that Taco Bell?
That example was Del Taco.
Okay? I never had Del Taco.
I don't, it could be, it could be a Western thing. Jack in the Box you can only get in certain states.
Yeah, we have Taco John's out here, which I've also never had. We got Taco Bell, obviously.
Taco John's, a member of my family.
Yeah, of course, that's your place. Yeah. But never Del Taco. People, let us know your favorite of the taco places in the comments. Give us your recommendations here.
Oliver then follows up. I'm always welcome in his country. So, and he's got to run off to see his kids. But okay, thank you for
great. Thanks for popping in. All right, now time to get back to a question. Edward says, "Good morning, guys. What are your thoughts on novice linear strength program?"
Do you want me to take it or you take it?
You take it.
Well, I think the mistake, just generally, and this is something I try to do with my movement matrix, which Patrick has put up on his site before.
Yep.
Because there is a phrase invented by Captain Dr. Thomas DeLorme called progressive resistance exercise. And so many people get caught in the one phrase called load. And so here, you're going to do 3 sets of 3 exercises, 3 days a week, the 3x3x3 program. And it's a great program. I have no issues with it. But I believe progression is also movements. It's sets and reps. It's a lot more than just load. So when someone says to me linear progression, almost universally they're talking about load. And it's fine for a beginner and it works well. But then, dude, if you think I'm still progressing, I mean, when I hear this stuff online, I've been lifting weights since 1965. It was the height of Vietnam. The Civil Rights Act was signed that year. That's a long time ago, and maybe this year we'll enact it. But that's a long time. And if I added 1 pound a workout, there might not be enough weights on the planet Earth to accommodate me. So I always remember for beginners, there's that wonderful progression as the nervous system figures out what to do. Then the hormone cascade happens and you improve. Then reality hits and you got to change reps, you got to change sets, and you got to change exercise selection. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. All right, let us keep moving here. Good questions today, everybody. All right. Justin says, this is a comment. I've had RSV for almost 2 weeks, which is the longest I've ever had something hang on. I wasn't super sick, but it's taking forever to shrug off, man. Feel that, man. Last year I had something that just did not shake.
Do you remember a couple of weeks back, I was bitching about I couldn't put my shoulders up over my arms because I got pneumonia, RSV, COVID, and the flu shots all at once because I'm Dan John and I'm too stupid to listen to directions. That RSV is some serious stuff, and I'm glad you're, Justin. I'm hoping you're feeling better.
Yeah, good. David says starting strength doesn't say go forever. It's just for the novice effect, and then you manipulate the reps to move to monthly, weekly, monthly, and annual increases.
Okay. Justin, congratulations for getting back to normal. That is awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Okay.
Yes, good, Justin. Dan, before we say goodbye, what are you working on this week? What do you got?
What am I working on? Well, I'm working on, we're going to have a different kind of Thanksgiving this year. My daughter Kelly was going to host it, and then a whole bunch of people bailed on her.
Oh, so, that's a bummer.
So I'm as soon as I hang up here, I'm pulling out my turkey, and so we'll have an extra one, which will be fun. We're going to do this thing I invented. It's called Thanksgiving. Actually, if you don't mind, Abraham Lincoln, in the height of the Civil War, he decided to celebrate. He's the one who came up with the concept of Thanksgiving, and hats off to. I mean, as when people talk about great presidents, and they just kind of toss out a few names, I don't think people realize how great Lincoln was. He brought us, of course, the civil service. For those of you who went to a land-grant university like the Utah State University, it's because of Abraham Lincoln. And when we celebrate as Americans this week to be thankful, and I know the Canadians did it about 2 months ago, it's Abraham Lincoln in the depths of the Civil War came up with this idea. And I've always thought, Patrick, there's a bit of wisdom to this, if you don't mind me going on.
Yes, please.
The prophet Kahil Gibran, said that great line, at the depths of your sorrow, look into your heart and you'll see the seeds of your happiest moment. And at your happiest moment, look into the depths of your heart and you'll see the seeds of your saddest. In the depths of the Civil War, he decided to be thankful. And I just think that is just such a great life lesson. So I'm going to be very thankful for Abraham Lincoln, for my daughters, for you, Patrick, for all of our listeners, our friends here who bought my book. And I just really appreciate everything. I'm very appreciative of the people who helped me on my health. And then I'm also going to throw weights over my head. So yeah, life is good.
Perfect. That's what I'm about to do in about 15 minutes from now. So I want to extend my gratitude as well, of course, to you, Dan, and all the gentle listeners. I hope if you already celebrated Thanksgiving because you live in America's hat or wherever, awesome. And for everybody else, I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you relax a little. Who plays this? Isn't the Lions? Don't the Lions always play on Thanksgiving or something like that?
And the Lions, man, are playing really well. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, the world is a better place.
Yeah, man. Look, I grew up in Michigan for many years, so I probably should have some sort of affinity to them. So yeah, why not? I'll root for the Lions this year. They're my team now. I'm a Lions fan, just like that. And hope you guys have a great holiday, and we will see you all next week. Same time, same place. Thank you for tuning in.